Hi, this is Brian from PureFlow Precision Drying. This morning I had a situation with a leaky faucet that was leaking into my bathroom vanity, and I wanted to take an opportunity to show you how to use a VEVOR thermal camera and a Protimeter Survey Master moisture meter to measure where water has gone. This can be useful if you've had any kind of water damage and you're drying it out yourself with dehumidifiers, air movers, that sort of thing. I'll show you how to take a dry standard reading and then compare that to where the moisture has gone and show you how easy it is to use these two devices. So first of all, we'll take the thermal camera and we'll look up, and you can see by the dark blue where there's some water right now. So I was able to tell that it's coming down from up above, like you can see some blue going down the pipes there. Where there is obviously a leak or something up there. And then if you go down, you can see that there's water that's settled on a few of the parts down here, and you can see it's dropping off of the bottom of the pipe there. And then when you look at the bottom of the cabinet, you can see in really dark blue where the water has gone and where the moisture is currently at the bottom of the cabinet. So once you take the thermal camera and kind of identify where the water has gone, then you can come with the Protimeter and you can use the pin meter here, and you can put this back here in the areas where the water is, and you can see that we're at 26% moisture back here in this spot. Moving forward a little closer, we're only at 8.9, so some of the water had been leaking earlier and looks like it has dried out already because it's not even measuring. If it's under about 7 or 8%, it won't even measure on the meter. So the dry standard basically for this area in an area that hasn't been affected would be that it won't even register on the meter. So basically you could assume that that's less than probably 7%. But if you get back here on some of the areas where the water has been leaking this morning, you can see that we're at 11%. There's one that's 18%. That's the freshest one this morning. But if you had water damage in your home and you were cleaning it up yourself, then you can use this method to determine when the materials are dry again. You're going to take a reading with this pin meter and see what the measurement is in an area of the same material that hasn't been affected, and then you're going to compare it with the area that is affected, and that's how you're able to tell if the water damage is back to a dry standard again. That's what we call a dry standard when you try to take a measurement in an area of the same material that was unaffected. There's also another mode that you can use on the Protimeter where it's a relative mode, and you can kind of scan it. You can see the back here. You lay this flat and you can scan it around, move it to different areas, and you can see that in an unaffected area here, the dry standard for the relative mode is about 129. And if I go back here to an area where we have some water, then I'm registering a 147 back there. Sometimes it'll go up to 149, and that kind of tells me that there's still drying that would need to be done back there if this was an area that we were clearing water damage. And like I said, you're going to compare that metric to back here, which is more like 132. There was one spot I measured that was 129 back here, but that's going to establish your dry standard and give you a baseline to shoot for when you're drying the other materials. And that'll let you know how long you need to keep your dehumidifiers running. If you've got air movers on that part that was damaged, then it'll help you know when you're actually done. If you're not using moisture meters, then you're pretty much just guessing, because some of the time you can rub your hands over the materials that have been affected by the water damage and they'll feel dry on top, but they are not dry necessarily below that, and that's where you could run into problems with mold. So again, we're using the Protimeter Survey Master moisture meter, and we're using a thermal camera from VEVOR And both of these items are available for rentals at PureFlow Precision Drying. We pick up equipment when you're done, and we also rent the moisture meters, dehumidifiers, air movers. We rent hardwood drying mats. We've got all kinds of equipment that will help you dry your water damage properly, and more importantly, know when you are complete so you're not just guessing at how long you need to keep the equipment. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.